Welcome to this season's informational meeting. I'm excited that we get to have this and prepare for the upcoming season. Ski and Board Club is open to all students in grades 9 through 12, regardless of skill level. For those new to the club, we take 5 trips to Seven Springs, leaving after school and returning a little before midnight. Normally, all trips are on a Friday evening, but this year, with break beginning on a weekday, we will be taking our first Thursday night trip. All trips are weather permitting, and it is worth mentioning that if school is canceled on a trip day, the trip is also canceled, as the cancellation applies to all after-school activities. There is one makeup day built into the schedule on the 25th of February, which hopefully gives us plenty of time to finish the season in advance of spring sports. There are 2 main levels of membership in the club, and the main difference is if the student has a season pass to Seven Springs. For those that do not, a regular membership includes lift tickets for 4 of the 5 trips and transportation. Regardless of membership level, students are required to pay the $100 activity fee. But if they have paid this for another activity already, there is no need to pay a second time. Or if this is their first activity and they will be participating in another activity in the spring, this one-time fee will cover that as well. A transportation membership are for those students with a season pass and is for transportation to all 5 trips. Once again, the activity fee is required for this level of membership as well. Like most things, there has been a significant price increase to rental items and lessons at Seven Springs. And while a lesson is still reasonable for a 2-hour session, the price of rentals is significantly more than a season rental from a local shop, which is usually around $100. For example, Peak Ski and Board gives members of the ski club a store-wide 15% discount, which brings a season rental to right around $100 for the whole entire season. Renting from a local shop also saves time when at the mountain, as students do not need to take time at the rental center getting fitted for equipment each trip. Also, helmets are required at all times on the mountain. The basic rule is that if you are touching snow, then your helmet should be on. Renting a helmet for all 4 trips costs $60 this season alone, which is more than a helmet at Costco or a local shop. Plus, purchasing a helmet allows for use over multiple years. I would strongly recommend purchasing your own helmet instead of renting each trip. For those students wishing to take a break from skiing, tubing is available in a 2-hour session from 6 p.m. to 8 p.m. for an additional fee of $41 per session. Students and parents are reminded that while on a school-sponsored trip, the district's code of conduct is in effect at all times. Please be aware that a member's behavior on the mountain reflects on the whole club. Students need to be respectful and compliant with all safety officials on the mountain. Failure to do so could cause removal from the club for the remainder of the season. While on the mountain, students are required to remain with a group. This does not mean that students need to ski right next to each other, but that they should ride the lifts together and meet at the bottom of each run. If a student has an issue, they should immediately notify ski patrol or a chaperone located in the main lodge. Unfortunately, theft on the mountain, especially at the main lodge and locker area, is a very real thing. It is imperative that students are responsible with their personal items. Anything that is not needed for skiing should be left on the buses, which are locked and secured until 30 minutes before departure. Lockers are available for a small fee, and ski and board check-in is included with our group trip in the main lodge and available to all members the night of the trip. While we are fortunate to be approved to take trips this year, we will still need to be vigilant as students will be in close contact while traveling to and from the resort. The price of buses makes it cost prohibitive to have students seated every other seat. Therefore, students will be required to remain masked at all times while on the bus. No food will be permitted to be eaten while traveling, so students should plan on eating either before they load for the buses after school dismissal or plan on eating at the resort. Students may pack food for the trip or purchase food at the resort. Masking is not required when eating at the main lodge, but masks should be worn at all other times. Bus sign-ups will occur in December, and we will be choosing in class order. More details will follow after registration. But what will be different this year is that students will choose a seat as well as a bus. Much like on a flight, this seat will be their assigned seat for the season, so that accurate attendance may be taken in the event that contact tracing is necessary. In the event a student is COVID positive or quarantined due to contact tracing, a refund for a lift ticket will be possible for the missed trip. However, due to advanced scheduling of buses, no refund for transportation will be possible in the event of a student missed trip. The best thing we can do to maintain the safety and operation of the club for the whole season is to be responsible with our masking while on trips. Equipment drop-off will be in a new location this season and will require a different drop-off procedure than in previous years. Student equipment will be stored in the main lobby of the high school stadium. Buses will load at the stadium after school instead of the rear of the high school by athletics. For those juniors and seniors with a parking pass, the easiest thing to do is leave your equipment in your car and unload it at the end of the day as you are making your way to the buses. There will be plenty of time after dismissal to get your things, and this way you will not need to wait in the drop-off line as all students are parking in the front of the building or stadium lots anyway. For parents dropping off their children, all traffic must enter from Warrendale Road and make the first left into the stadium lot. From there, in an attempt to keep traffic from backing up, you will need to proceed to the stadium main entrance intersection and turn right toward the ram cage. At the stop sign, turn left toward the middle school and loop around back to the main entrance. Here is an aerial view of the path. Entering from the Warrendale Road, there will be a sign directing ski club members to the drop-off location. Again, as you approach the main entrance, you will be directed to turn right and loop around the parking lot. This will put you in the right direction to drop off your child and continue on toward the high school and then right out to Warrendale Road. When you arrive at the entrance to the stadium, all drivers need to remain in their vehicle. Students should exit the vehicle, take all their items for school, and if they need assistance unloading equipment, a class representative will be there to give them a hand. Once the student and equipment are unloaded, please wait until directed to move out, as there will be a line unloading simultaneously, as well as students arriving to park in the stadium. Once directed to move on, please exit the campus at the Warrendale Road. Please follow all guidance from the safety director, Mr. Petyak. Students will take their equipment into the stadium using the entrance on the right and deposit it in the gates closed to the field. Once they have placed their equipment, they will exit out and to the high school. Registration will be similar to years past, with the exception that all items will be submitted electronically through Google Classroom. There is a registration form to be completed by the students and a waiver that must be printed, filled out, signed, and then uploaded to Google Classroom. Students that choose to rent from Seven Springs must also complete an additional waiver via an included link to Seven Springs. Students that have completed the online portion of registration may bring their checks made payable to PR Ski Club to any lunch period the first week after Thanksgiving break. A class officer will be available to take the check in the cafeteria that week. After December 3rd, students will need to bring their checks to room 203, either before or after school or between classes. Never during a class period, as this will interrupt instruction during class. There are several ways to stay up to date with the club. The club's website is linked through the district's website via the high school club activities page. Information is posted to Google Classroom, and special announcements will be made via social media. We also use the Remind app to post events and reminders. This is available to both students and parents. For a parent with multiple students in the club, please join the class of your youngest child. That way you will get the notifications for the necessary amount of time without needing to rejoin yearly. Finally, I wanted to provide you with this year's leadership team. Myself, Mr. Perry, along with Mr. Bickler, are the sponsors for the club. Our contact information and room numbers are provided on screen, along with this year's senior officers. Students may contact anyone on the leadership team with questions, while parents should reach out to myself or Mr. Bickler. If you have any questions, please email one of us. Thanks for listening, and here's to a great season.